4 Philippine Women's Open main draw players still in contention at Australian Open. 4 players in the preliminary list of the Philippine Women's Open main draw remain in the running at the 2026 Australian Open, with the Philippines' first WTA 125 event starting to take proper shape as players clear their respective calendars. The handful of players still competing at the Australian Open are Xinyu Wang, Moka Ochijima, Yulia Putintseva, and Paulina Kudermetova. Their final participation in Manila should be determined on how far they make it in Melbourne. As for the rest of the field, Australian Open results have paved the way for Manila for the Philippine Women's Open. Ranked players like Paris 2024 Olympic silver medalist Donna Vekic and WTA number 42 Tatiana Maria are already out of the Australian Open singles tournament, clearing their path to the Rizal Memorial Tennis Centre. Other main draw players in Kimberly Birrell, Leolia Jean, Camila Osorio, Jimeno Sakastium, Daja Seministaja, Solana Sierra, Yulia Starodubtseva, Lulu Sun, Lanlana Tararudi, Simona Waltet, Yu Yuan, and Veronika Ajavic have also exited the Australian Open. Meanwhile, Linju, Nao Hibino, Sofia Kostulas, and Alina Cheriva played in the qualifiers and was subsequently eliminated before getting to the main draw. Alina Avanzian, who did not play in Australia, giving the Philippine Women's Open 20 available players. The big fish, of course, is Alex Ila. While the Filipina ace has also ended her Australian Open stint, her participation remains up in the air as Ila also has a slot in the qualifying draw of the Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open, which will coincide with the Philippine Women's Open. The Abu Dhabi Open is a WTA 500 tournament whose main draw includes the likes of Paula Badosa, Belinda Bencic, and Leylah Fernandez. According to the organizers of the Philippine Women's Open, tickets for the tournament have been flying off the shelves, with the tickets for the last day, January 31st, already sold out. The Court of Dreams, Philippines' 4 women still chasing glory at the Australian Open. By the time the sun rises over Melbourne Park, a glittering arena where Grand Slam dreams are made and sometimes shattered, there's a unique kind of electricity in the air. It's the Australian Open, the first major of the tennis calendar, where roots are carved into history with every save, return, and sprint. It's also become this year a stage where Filipino tennis watchers find themselves breathing extra hard, glued to every point score with a mix of hope, tension, and collective pride. For the Philippine Women's Open, a historic new WTA 125 tournament taking shape in Manila later this month, the Australian Open has indirectly become the world's most important warm-up event. Why? Because 4 players who are on the preliminary list of the Philippine Women's Open main draw are still alive in Melbourne Park, and their continued run in Australia could influence whether they make it across the seas to Manila. So let's set the scene, meet these formidable athletes, and explore what this moment means, both on the court and for a nation that's beginning to see its tennis future unfold. 1. Xinyu Wang, the silent storm from the east. First, there's Xinyu Wang, a name quietly turning heads. She comes from China with a blend of precision and power that belies her steady demeanor. Wang's performance at this year's Australian Open has captured attention because of how she dismantles rallies with surgical ground strokes and strategic placement. While not the most celebrated name in the women's draw, her rise this season has been nothing short of remarkable. She's a player who started as an underdog and forced her way into relevance through grit, consistency, and a fearless approach on key points. Now, deep into this Grand Slam, she is proving why she isn't just a presence, she belongs. And that matters because, when the dust settles in Melbourne, players like Wang could bring major credibility to the Philippine Women's Open when they eventually travel to Manila later this month. For Wang, the Australian summer isn't just the first Grand Slam of the year, it's potentially a turning point in a career that's steadily ascending. 2. Moka Ochijima, the gritty strategist from Japan. Then there's Moka Ochijima. Japan's dynamic competitor possesses a game wrapped in tactical brilliance. Unlike the pure hitters who seek to overpower, Uchijima relies on intellectual tennis, mixing spins, rhythms, and angles to disrupt the rhythm of even the most polished opponents. At this year's Australian Open, she's made an impression for her ability to stay composed under pressure. Her matches are a chess game, every point a negotiation between patience and attack. Uchijima's clever court sense has kept her circuiting deeper into the draw, earning her not just respect but hard-fought victories. What makes her run especially intriguing for Filipino fans is how it underscores the international flavor of the Philippine Women's Open. Stories like Uchijima's, players from tennis-rich nations bringing their peak form into a new tournament in Manila, turn a fledgling event into something genuinely world-class. Through her compelling Australian Open performance, Uchijima isn't just contending for ranking points. She's reminding everyone that every match, no matter where it's played next, has a ripple effect across the tour. 3. Yulia Putintseva, the tenacious warrior from Kazakhstan. If there were ever a player who epitomizes grit, it's Yulia Putintseva. The Kazakh warrior has built a reputation on fiery competitiveness and a fighting spirit that makes her matches must-watch. She's one of those players who draws energy from intensity, feeding off the crowd, turning nerve-wracking exchanges into psychological advantage. At the Australian Open this year, Putintseva is doing what she's always done best, grinding out every point like it's a last. And in a field thick with power hitters and big-name talents, it's a tenacity that's keeping her in contention. Putintseva isn't just playing, she's battling. That's the kind of performance that leaves footprints in the memories of fans and inspires the next generation back home in every tennis community watching around the globe. And if she ends up competing in Manila, you can bet her fiery style will electrify Rizal Memorial Tennis Center in a way few others can match. 4. Paulina Kudermetova, the rising force from Eastern Europe. The fourth name still active at the Australian Open is Paulina Kudermetova, a player whose blend of raw talent and youthful ambition has made her one to watch. She enters tournaments not as an established star but as a challenger. Hungry, unpredictable, and increasingly dangerous. Kudermetova's game is built on athleticism and aggression. She's happy dictating rallies with big serves, hard ground strokes, and sudden rushes to the net when an opening appears. Against many opponents at this slam, she has shown that comfort under pressure doesn't have to come from experience, only the willingness to fight in every rally. Her continued run in Melbourne means she has not only earned the opportunity to test herself against the world's best, but also kept her name on the Philippine Women's Open main draw list as someone still in contention. That's no small thing. Why this matters to Philippine tennis?